Hey everyone, Jeremy here. It is Tuesday night and we're going to create some art. It's going to be awesome. Sorry I'm a little late. I'm like a 1 minute late because I was reading a book and I'm like, oh crap, I got to hop in here. So how you guys doing? I see there's a couple people in the room already. We got Rome Dog, we got OK Larry, we got Kid. That's definitely enough for a party. So what are we working on tonight? Great question. And I know you guys love to ask that question. Um, so I know we just did a kitty cat the other day, but I got this request. It wasn't specifically targeted to me, but it was just a request in general. So on Reddit, there's this cool little subreddit called drawme where people post like pictures of themselves, pictures of their cat, pictures of their dog, just various things. Usually it's people. And they post these requests and they ask if anybody can draw them. Like there's no money expected. It's just like, hey, would you draw me? I'd appreciate it and stuff. And in particular, this request said, can someone please draw my cat? He's really old. Turns out the cat's like 20 years old. And I want something to hang in my room, but I don't have money to pay for it. That's actually the kind of art that I enjoy doing. So, it's such a nice request, such a humble request. They just want a picture that they can hang on their wall. They even said it doesn't have to be professional, doesn't even have to look good or anything. And I'm like, well, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to do more of this kind of work, where people have pets that have passed away or just like loved ones, things of that nature. I always feel like super rewarded personally when I do these type of pictures, just because like I know that the person who's receiving the picture, it means a lot to them. So that takes a lot off of the stress of like working on it. It's like I know that if I do a good job, the person's going to be super appreciative. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. If you guys are into that, that's great. We can hang out and chat, but I'm just going to go ahead and jump in and get started. Let's see, here we go. I kind of already blocked off a little bit of like where I think the cat should be on the paper. So I'm just going to start drawing. But yeah, hopefully you guys' weekend went well. I know that mine went pretty well. We can hang out and chat about that. That picture was like kind of like perfect to do on. I should explain that I'm going to do it in white pencil on black paper, because that picture kind of seemed like it was begging for it. So I'm like, okay, I can do that. It's going to be cool. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was such a nice request, and like anybody watching this show, like honestly, that's kind of like the message I want to give out to the world. I want this to be like a positive channel that kind of brings smiles to people. So like if you know somebody who's going through a rough time, they lost their pet, and they just need a pick me up or something, give me a holler. My email address is on the channel page. Those are the type of requests I actually want to get, because one of these days, that's all I'm going to do, I think, is I'm just going to do these pictures. Like, I don't know if this person wants me to mail it to them, but I'll even mail it to them. Otherwise, I'll take a really good picture of it and post it for them, so that they can get it printed to hang out on the wall and stuff. But I just like that vibe, like if you're gonna put your skills to good use, I think that there's no better use than bringing smiles to people in the world. But Larry says, that's super cool and nice, Jeremy. Thank you. I appreciate that. Kid says that's nice. Yeah, you guys get it. You guys have been around for a while. You know that's my ultimate goal, is to one day just, draw pictures for people. And like again, my crazy idea is that if I do enough of them and like people watch this show and stuff, then maybe even YouTube can pay for the postage and I can just send these things out to people, and not have to worry about it. That'd be kind of cool. That's the dream, but it doesn't even require all that. Just, like if I come across a cool post like that on Reddit, where somebody's super humble and they're just like, hey, this would bring a smile to my face. Hey, that's what I want to do. So I think it'd be cool. But we're gonna make this look really nice for them, even though they don't expect much. We're gonna meet and exceed their expectations. Rum Dog says, I get no sense left, and it really helps them out and myself. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You're an artist as well. I don't know. It's like if you're going to do a picture and you're just going to like practice your art skills, why not put it to good use? That's what I say. This is a pretty cat too. Like that helps. It helps that it's a pretty cat. I know that I've done a couple cats lately and stuff, so hopefully it doesn't seem too repetitive. I try to keep things fresh on this channel, but I'm operating the under the assumption that you guys just like hanging out. You guys don't really care too much what I draw, and within reason. Like I got to keep it reasonable. Like probably don't want me to go like off the rails and draw something like really crazy. Although that'd be fun too. Just a complete weird picture drawing day or something. You love cats too. Yeah, Tom is sometimes in here. Maybe he'll pop in later. He really likes cats. I like doing dogs and cats. I think it's easier for me to draw dogs, just because of like I'm used to their shape and markings and so on. Like cats, especially like a tiger stripe cat like this one, you can get really far into the details and stuff, and maybe it'll take a little bit longer and be a little bit more difficult. But I like drawing cats. Again, I have a cat of my own. I've always loved cats. I used to have a lot of cats. So definitely a cat loving household here. Be like stepping stones. Making those gators mad would be a bad day. You probably run across some gators and never touch the water. There was a video game like that back in the day. Pitfall, I think it was. Or maybe you weren't running across the gators. Maybe you're swinging across so that they don't get you. You know what the man says, right? He says, don't make the alligator mad until you've crossed the river. That's that's the old Finn saying there. I always like that one. I I think that was actually from something. I think that was from like Alice in Wonderland or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But I always thought that was a cool quote. So the actual technique here is like I've been doing with many of my drawings lately is I come in and I just kind of like softly put in these marks. Yeah, Pitfall. There you go. Thanks, Larry. I appreciate that. I couldn't remember the name of it. Yeah, I love Pitfall back in the day. Um, I was in like a computer club way back in the day where like it was after school and like you're supposed to go in and learn computers, like just how to use computers and stuff like that. But all we ever did was play video games. And at the time, all the video games were like Atari video games and stuff. So Pitfall was a big one for me. Um, I really enjoyed Montezuma's Revenge. That's probably one that not a lot of people are familiar with. But I really love Montezuma's Revenge. I love Pitfall. Um, many years ago, I don't know if they still have these, but they ended up creating emulators for the Atari, so you could play video games, on your computer, like old Atari video games on your computer and stuff. And the first one that I looked up was that Montezuma's Revenge because I liked it so much. Kid says we're having some major thunderstorms blow through at the moment. Oh no! Hope that you guys can find like not find shelter. I think you're at your house. So hopefully, if things get really bad, you have a basement or something like it. Don't spend your time watching this show if things get bad. Is what I'm trying to get at. I know how those go. Like here in Kentucky, we've been having like over the last couple of years some major thunderstorms where we get like tornadoes and stuff. It's kind of unusual. I think just in the last 5 years, that's been a thing. I don't know if that's what they mean when they say like climate change or whatever, but I have noticed that there's been an increase in like tornado type storms. I mean, we've always had tornadoes of some type. Like there was a major one that blew through in eastern Kentucky just maybe a decade back. Um, but it seems like we've been having a lot of small like little ones and stuff doing some real damage to like we have a bunch of small towns around here and stuff without like a lot of crazy infrastructure. Like they're not really built well, so they're not really built to withstand major storms. I don't know. Greeting from fake Germany. Hey, Mama Q, how's it going? Speaking of Germany, you guys watching the Olympics? The Olympics are great. I've been trying to watch those every day, just as kind of like background noise. I love the Olympics. Um, I mentioned before that I used to work for like the NGB of equestrian sports. Um, I don't know if I should mention it on the show in case like some of them are watching, but my cell phone, my mobile phone plan is still through the IOC, and I don't know if I'm supposed to like cancel that or not. But no, I still have like a discount through the International Olympic Committee on my phone. But yeah, like I'm really big into the equestrian Olympics. Kid says they have a generator, but yes, I'll keep watching while hunkered down under the bed. Nice, yeah. Hopefully your dogs or your pets they don't mind the storm. I know that mine don't mind it too much, but sometimes they can get like a little skitterish from the weather. I think trying to figure out how big this ear should be. I think it kind of ends right around here. I think that's what I had mapped off. It's going great. We are eating dinner at an Italian restaurant in Leavenworth. Nice. Yeah, that sounds good. Man, Italian food sounds good. Let's see, what did I did some things over the weekend. It was fun. I went to see Deadpool. Like I know that like my audience is not like you guys vary in age and stuff. I realize that. I know that Deadpool's not for everybody. But Deadpool is so much fun. If somebody gets a chance to watch it, I do highly recommend it. For certain audiences, like obviously like super young kids or whatever, don't leave the kids at home. But yeah, if you're an adult, even if you're like a casual, yeah, Mama Q knows. Even if you're just a casual MCU fan, you would probably enjoy Deadpool, and you don't even have to be like up to date on all of the inner stuff. Like, there's some stuff that I do recommend you guys watch, like if you're into it. Like Loki would be helpful and stuff. You can go back and watch the old Wolverine movies and with like all the X-Men movies and stuff, but you don't have to like you could just go in there completely not knowing anything and have a lot of fun in that Deadpool movie. It's great. As long as you have like some basic concept of like pop culture, I think you'd enjoy it. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I did that on Friday, I think. Um, on Saturday, my brother who lives in Maryland was in town, and we went to it's no surprise I live in Kentucky. I've mentioned that several times. We went to Colonel Sanders' wife's original restaurant. Now, I know that doesn't make sense, but Colonel Sanders, of course, is the Colonel from Kentucky Fried Chicken. And the way it works is that um, he eventually sold his restaurant to like whatever became KFC. So like KFC, the corporate thing or whatever, um, came out of Colonel Sanders selling his interest to him. Um, but he still kind of enjoyed cooking, and his wife in particular wanted to continue making fried chicken. So they ended up opening a second restaurant that was just like Mrs. Sanders' restaurant or whatever. So they still serve the same chicken from back then. Not the exact same chicken. That would be bad. That would be, like that chicken would have rotted by now. But they sell the same recipe chicken from back then. And yeah, we went to that restaurant, and it is so good. I gotta tell you guys, like I love KFC. Not I know fried chicken's terrible for you. It'll kill you eventually. But I love KFC. I don't eat it all that often just because it will kill you. But I do enjoy it. Let me tell you, Mrs. Sanders chicken is better. It is just objectively better than KFC. It just feels fresher. Like it's just like fried better. I don't know. All the there might be like 11 secret herbs and spices in KFC, but this one has like better 11 herbs and spices or whatever. It's really good. Anyway, if you ever come to Kentucky, give me a holler, and I'll tell you about that restaurant as a recommendation. So anyway, that's what I did over the weekend. I was supposed to finish up a video to put out there about hiding my wood burn picture, but I didn't finish that. It's like half done. I'm glad I didn't finish it either because I was going to put it out there, but then I got an email or like a message through Instagram from the person who found it, and they sent me a picture of them holding it. So that's kind of cool. I'm going to put that in that video. So expect that soon. I know I said probably Monday, but I don't always I don't always keep to a schedule like I would like to. My sunshine loved the Honda Odyssey scenes. Yeah, so like was that product placement? Because like I feel like that was product placement. That Honda Odyssey definitely, without spoiling anything, that was definitely like a character in that movie. But yeah, in fact, I just mentioned this to somebody today. I had a dream. I bought a new car and it was a minivan. And I think it's because I went and watched Deadpool. Let's see what else you guys saying in here. KFC original recipe is my fave. Popeyes spicy is a close second. Yeah, I haven't been to Popeyes in forever, but yeah, I remember them being really good too. Uh, I like the original recipe from KFC. I know that the extra crispy, that's some people's favorite, but I'm a classic kind of person, so I go with the original recipe. I do like their grilled chicken. Like if you're looking for something that's a little bit healthier, their grilled chicken is really good. And then of course, I think I mentioned on this channel, my first job, I think it was no, one of my first jobs, when I was like 16 was working for Kentucky Fried Chicken. And at that time they still had the chicken littles. Oh my God, those were so good back in the day. Those are like little White Castles, but with chicken instead, and like a little dollop of mayonnaise on them. So good. Um, they don't have those anymore, which is a shame. The closest thing that I can find that's kind of like that is Chick-fil-A's like little chicken nuggets in the biscuit kind of thing. I love those. Those are good. Yeah, the classic chicken littles were the best. Mama Q knows. Yeah. Oh man, those are so good. And I could eat like, I don't know, 10 of them at a time. Like I would get like just a sack of them. But the great thing about working at KFC is you got to take home whatever like didn't sell. Now it was that was more like on the chicken side. Like you physically had to throw some extra like chicken littles on just to be able to take those home. But while you were there, you were able to eat as many as you wanted. And I just man, I used to eat a ton of those because I was like 16, right? So like there's no downside to it. At 16, you never gain any weight. Um, you don't have to worry about things like cholesterol or anything like that. I just ate like a ton of those little chicken littles. Probably if they were around today, I would still eat them all, even though I know it's bad for me. I don't know why they stopped selling those. Those were amazing, and everybody loved them. I don't know. So getting a bit of a cat face in here. I know it's a little bit time consuming, but it always is with cats. Whenever I draw cats, um, just because there's like so much going on. There's so much detail in a cat's face versus the dog. I feel like with dogs they have like broader areas of markings. So like if you're drawing a dog, I don't know, like usually like a normal spot dog or like some of these dogs back here, they have like maybe like one black eye marking or something, and then the rest is brown or something like that. Um, when drawing, especially short-haired dogs, you're drawing mostly, the underlying anatomy. So you're drawing like the bones and the muscles and things like that. You're not spending a lot of time drawing fur if it's like a short-haired dog. With these cats, they're all like fluffy. So you do spend quite a bit of time on that, especially these striped cats. They're adorable, but they do take a little bit of time. But we like doing it, or I like doing it. I mean, I would love, honestly, I am so serious about that being the mission statement here, guys. I know it might take me a while to build up to it. I think I'm going to build a website and kind of show off some of my my art that I've done, and just kind of like let people know that, hey, I'm wanting to do this as a good deed for the world. Send me your requests. You know, maybe with like with the website doing it like officially, I could get some other people like supportive of it. I don't know, like the news or whatever, kind of get the word out there. But I think it'd be kind of cool goal, you know, like if that was the thing, because like I could sit here and draw cats all day. I would love to draw cats all day if it brings smiles to people's faces. I'm not worried about the lost time because I could be watching Deadpool or something while doing this. Just fire up Disney Plus and just draw pictures all day. Um, but yeah, I mean, I just get a lot of joy out of that. The other day I drew Hulu's not Hulu's that's the TV station. Hoolie's um uh brother's dog, and man, she was so appreciative of that, and I just was looking for something to draw. So like she had posted that in a Discord chat, and I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna go and draw that. And I don't think she took me seriously because like I literally like, yeah, I'm gonna go draw this and stuff. So I grabbed that picture and I did it, and she was so appreciative. And it's like, man, that just makes me feel good, you know. So like she feels good about getting this dog's picture. I feel good about doing it. You guys enjoy watching it. It's like it's a win-win for everybody. It's just so like the more I think about it, it's just so the direction I want to go. Now, that's not to say that I'm not going to continue doing my other work. I'm still going to be doing my coffee paintings of wildlife things. I'm still going to be trying to draw people, however bad that turns out. I'll probably still every now and then get creative and just draw like, I don't know, like a pterodactyl or whatever. Actually, that'd be cool. I should draw a pterodactyl. Um, but yeah, I'm still going to draw all these crazy things. It's just that's going to be my focus, I think. My focus is going to be on doing people's pets. Um, I know I've said this before, but I feel like that's just where I'm going as far as like I hate to say calling because like I don't know if there is like a calling in art. I feel like there's just something that inspires you. Yeah, let's call it a calling. All right. So there's like things that inspire you in your artistic endeavors, and then things that don't. Like sometimes you just go through the motions and you're like trying to do something because you just want to learn something or something like that. But I never feel that way when I'm doing people's pets. I don't feel like I will ever get tired of or bored of it because, for one, they're cute. They're super cute. Like drawing this. I mean, this is a cute cat. There's no downside. I don't know. You can see I'm excited about it. So, like, obviously, I'm into it. Um, Rumdog says, right, Jeremy, those are the ones that mean a lot to us. Yeah, for real. I'd still say that the one of the best comments I got from anybody is like when I started drawing last year. Somebody approached me out of on Facebook out of the blue. It was like, "Are you Jeremy from like such and such?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." And he's like, "You drew a picture of my dad like 20 years ago." And he sent me a picture. Oh, actually, he sent me a picture. That's right. He sent me a picture, and he's like, "Are you the Jeremy that drew this?" And I'm looking at it. I'm like, "Well, that kind of looks like my signature. That's definitely my name. That does look like art I was drawing. It had a year on it." And I'm like, "Yeah, that kind of seems like me," but I couldn't place it. And then he told me who he was, and I'm like, I kind of remember the name. Um, but yeah, it turned out it was me that actually drew this, and that was just so amazing, like out of the blue. And anyway, long story short, he was so appreciative that I drew that. He actually hunted me down on the internet, like not in a bad way, but he hunted me down just to say thank you because like he took that picture and he gave it to I think his grandmother. So it was a picture of his dad who had just passed away, and he gave it to his grandmother, and his grandmother kept it on her wall for many, many years, and then she passed away. And then when she passed away, he took it back and he keeps it on his wall, and he shows it to his family, so like his kids. Now, when I knew him, this was like I don't know, like at least 20 years ago, probably like more like 22 or something like that. But he had no kids, like so he's sharing it with family that didn't even exist back then. So and he was just so appreciative, and he thought it was cool. And to be honest with you, I mean I can draw an elephant, right? But that's nobody's pet elephant. That's nobody's father. Uh, That's nobody. There's no emotional connection to that elephant, like there is with some of these pet drawings that I do. And I don't know, like you guys see what I'm saying? It's like, oh, what's more rewarding than that? Like that guy's message. It was just so awesome. And all the people who like I've done some of your guys' pets, and you guys are just like, thanks, Jeremy. And I'm like, wow, they really like it. That's cool. I don't know. In my day job, I do like software programming. Nobody ever says, "Dang, Jeremy, thank you so much for the software you made." Like, it doesn't happen. I mean, I get thank you for doing your job. Thank you for doing what I paid you to do, but nobody's like got an emotional attachment to it. Certainly none of the software I create. So like that's one of the downsides of software. That's why I wanted to get into doing more creative stuff like drawing. Because I have built a career, like pretty long career actually, out of doing software, particularly websites. And I kind of don't mind that there's no permanence to it. Like I don't mind doing impermanent things, like things that are kind of like transitory. They just, you know, they matter in the world for a few years and then they're gone. Like that's basically websites. Like, you should you should redesign your website at least every 2 3 years. Maybe a little bit longer, but you should certainly every decade, right? So like none of that work. Like my early software probably doesn't even work anymore. It's probably out of date. Um, but yeah, so that obviously that is a rewarding thing from like, hey, this guy is hanging your picture in his house and showing it to his kids. They weren't even born when you first drew it. That's awesome. Um, I always thought it'd be cool. Like in college, I actually studied to be like it had nothing to do with art. It had nothing to do with programming or any of that stuff. It was tree care and land management. It was like a little community college, and I had the crazy idea that I was going to do bonsai trees, and it's kind of for the same reason. So like bonsai is like basically shaping trees like little miniature trees. And what fascinated me about bonsai is that when you do that kind of art, um, you're not going to be around to see it when it's like fully developed. So like bonsai trees, some of these things they live to be like 500 years old. Certainly, it's at least 100 years old before the tree is in any shape to be presented. And I'm talking about the juniper trees or the I don't know how to pronounce it, banyan, ginseng ficus banyan trees. Those take you know the better part of a lifetime to develop. And I always thought it would be interesting to start a project. So like you start a bonsai tree now, and it's something that you will to others, so that like they can pick up where it left off. Like I said, like some of the oldest bonsai trees, they're like 500, 600. I think they even go up to like 1,000 years old. I don't really know. You'd have to quote me. You'd have to fact check me on that. But I do think that they live for like a long time. So if you think about that, the person who started that tree, started the training on the tree, because it really is training. You're training the branches to go in different directions and stuff like that, and trying to keep it healthy, all of that stuff. It is literal training. But if you think about 500 years, the person who started that bonsai tree was alive during Leonardo da Vinci's time. That's about 500 years ago. I don't know exactly how long Leonardo da Vinci lived, but I'm going to call it 500 years ago. Um, 500 years ago, the United States didn't even exist, and at least as far as the Europeans go. Um, it was it's just a bunch of Native Americans over here. So it's pretty amazing to me that life cycle. So I'm off on a tangent, but that kind of stuff interests me. So like, even though I don't mind drawing something that it is literally not going to last, I could draw it on toilet paper or something like that. It's going to disappear. Um, I do like ideas of things that do like survive the test of time and stay out there forever and stuff. I mean, I don't feel like I need that kind of stuff. Like I don't care about, I don't know, legacy or, you know, immortality through art or anything like that. But it is kind of cool and fascinating. Anyway, I just thought it was cool that the guy sent me in like an email 20, 25 years later saying, "Hey, thanks for the art." Let's see, back in the chat. Rome Dog says, "It's awesome you jumped at drawing time with no hesitation. That's when I really need it. Yeah, I would have stopped drawing if that never happened. Time is Rome, autocorrect. Yeah. Um, yeah, when drawing Rome, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So Rome was such a great project. I enjoyed drawing Rome Dog. Such a beautiful dog. And then obviously you enjoyed the picture as well. It's just this this great thing, like this symbiotic joy. You know, like you enjoyed it, I enjoyed it. Rome would have enjoyed it. It's just good for everybody. So I mean, why not do that for fun? And you know, I'm cool with that. So like, if people want that, I will do that. So I'm just gonna basically I'm just gonna kind of more formalize it. So I'm gonna put this picture out there for that guy on Reddit, and then I'm gonna keep looking for projects like that. Like I don't know, people post their pictures to Reddit all the time. I'm just gonna snatch them up and do these projects, and then I think I'll build a website and kind of like explore the idea a little bit further, figure it out. You know. That chat was awesome too. Yeah, these chats are always fun. That, you know, that's a given. Doesn't matter what we're working on, we're gonna have a good time in the chat, I think. You guys are really super cool people. I like it when you guys chat amongst yourselves. That's pretty cool. Like I like that you guys get along in here. Like I had no reason to expect that. Like some communities, they don't get along. A lot of communities are at each other's throats. The ones that I participate in, I try to be like not just like a moderator, but like a moderate voice, trying to calm people down a lot. And but especially in today's day and age, with so many different viewpoints and I don't know, like it is a political year, for example, and just people are at each other's throats and stuff. I like it that you guys are not like that, that you guys, you know, put aside your differences. And I don't even know if you guys have differences. Like you guys literally don't fight about anything. But one of these days, somebody will come in here who's like just being a jerk or whatever, and we'll have to boot them. I'm glad that you guys aren't like that. Pretty kitty so far, I think. Like I said, a lot of details. It does kind of, it's basically like inching your way through a picture. But that's okay. That's what we're here for. If I wasn't doing this live stream, I'd, like I said, I'd be watching a movie while doing it or listening to a podcast or something. I am looking for good podcasts, by the way. Kid says, looking scoopable. Awesome. Because again said, thank us for giving us a place to escape the drama. Hey, you know, mi casa su casa. If you guys just want to come in here and chill and express yourself, you know, just chill out and things like that. Hey, I am not going to stop you. So, and I will welcome you guys. You know, have a drink. You know, come in here, have a drink, chill out. I like it. I don't know if I like this nose though. I'm gonna tinker with this nose a little bit. I think I might have made this a little bit wide. I don't know if this eraser is going to work, but I'm going to bring that back in a little bit. And then I think this white here needs to kind of curve in a little bit. Little details matter, I think, when doing these. But yeah, I mean, if you guys were fighting all the time, I would probably just ignore it, but but yeah, welcome BIC. I know that you've been busy lately, so I appreciate you stopping in. Yeah, it is nice to escape the drama. Um, I've basically tuned out the entire like political sphere. I do watch TV, but it's just for things like the Olympics, which the Olympics are awesome. That's a nice positive thing in the world. Um, Just Dave, who's from the UK, he's a friend of the show. He pops in here now and then. I've been teasing him about how I've been teasing him about how the United States has more medals than the UK, and he brought a good point today. Like he had the perfect comeback. I was like, yeah, it looks like we have about twice as many medals, not even gold medals, just medals in general, than people in the UK or than the UK does. And he's like, yeah, but what's your per capita size and all that? Like the actual size of the United States and the actual population of the United States, um, it would make sense that we would render more athletes than the ones that come out of the UK. And I didn't have a good comeback for that. That was a pretty good point because you know Great Britain isn't that big, and they don't have as much of a population as the United States. For them to have as many medals as they have is actually pretty remarkable. So anyway, it's kind of cool to, especially like when you don't have any stake in it. Like there's some competitions where maybe the United States is not doing that great or not, or even out of it. I guess like later in the Olympics that'll be the case. The United States may not even be participating. It's kind of cool to root for different countries. Like it was the same way with soccer. Hello, Mr. Mrs. Doubtfire voice. I think that's how. Hello. I don't know. If I can do that. That didn't seem like Mrs. Doubtfire. Okay, Larry says politics of geographic what works here may not work where others are. Yeah, especially I mean, the politics that we talk about are like U.S. politics. We've got people in this on this channel from all over the world. Like Ida stops in sometimes. She's from New Zealand. Um, Just Dave, he's from the UK. There's a couple of Hater who pops in every now and then. He's from the UK. So we're an international show here. So American politics they don't matter to the rest of the world. I don't know. Maybe they do. I guess we care about politics from other countries sometimes. Like there's like an election in like Europe or something. I probably am paying attention at least. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of politics. I just wish this year would skip skip over this year. But we're getting closer to it being over, which is good. I just don't like things. The only politics I argue about either you like dogs or you're wrong. 100%. Hey, that is something you know, bipartisan. There you go. Maybe that is the common ground that can bring people together. Everybody likes dogs. Like there's nobody who doesn't. Well, there's people who don't like dogs and stuff, but they're assholes. Like we don't have to care about them. There are people who don't like dogs, but who cares about them? But yeah, I will be happy when this year is over. But there's good things like there's Deadpool. Who cares likes turtles? There you go. I like turtles. I love that clip. Yeah, there's some good things this year about Deadpool. Again, not to belabor the MCU stuff, but major announcements. So they had the San Diego Comic Con. I know that means a lot to a lot of you guys. I know you guys are so into like Comic Cons. But they had the San Diego Comic Con, which is the big one where all the different places show up and kind of present um, what's going on, like upcoming movies, things like that. And there was a big announcement that in the next two Avengers movies, which I love the Avengers, And just to give you kind of some background in case you haven't been watching or paying attention to like developments in the MCU, is that they've kind of been all over the place lately. They haven't really been hitting their marks. Um, some of their movies have not been well received. Like it kind of started with Quantumania. That's the Ant-Man movie that had King the Conqueror in it, and like people just didn't warm up to that. People didn't really like it. And then they had a really big misfire with Secret Invasion. That's the Samuel L. Jackson TV show. Nobody liked that. They just thought it was really bad. Um, the Marvels, nobody liked that. So they've had a series of setbacks. So they needed a win. I think that Deadpool's going to be that win that kind of brings them back from the brink. But also they made a huge, yeah, superhero hero effect fatigue. A lot. I mean, these movies have been out there for so long. A lot of people are over it. In order for them to kind of like stay in the race as far as like movies go, they needed like a shot of adrenaline. I think that Deadpool is going to be part of that, but also they made a major announcement that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back. He's coming back as a different character. He's not going to be playing Iron Man, but that's pretty exciting. I know that that's only exciting to some people, but I'm looking forward to that. So I think that's kind of cool. And that's not that far out either. Like I think next year the big movie is supposed to. They have like three movies coming out next year, which is probably that superhero fatigue that you mentioned. You know, they put out too many movies, but this year they only put out Deadpool. So I don't know, maybe that's like a break from that. But next year they're supposed to come back out with three or four more movies, and one of them, the big one, I think is going to be like Fantastic Four. I think that's going to be a huge movie. And then directly after that, too, he's gonna play Tommy Stork. Or what was that? That they had a cameo with oh crap. They had one of those cameos that what's his name? I can't recall his name at this moment, but he called him Tony Stank. Like that's who he should play. Anyway, he's supposed to play Doctor Doom, which is a big character. Like if you're familiar with the comics, I think that's going to be I think that's going to be really cool. But yeah, they call him Tony Stank. But I don't know if he's playing a variant of Tony Stark or not. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I don't know. It's big news. Um, some people are kind of disappointed because they're like, well, Robert Downey Jr. coming back means that maybe they ran out of ideas, and maybe they have. I don't know. But like, I always enjoy these movies, so I give them the benefit of the doubt. It's kind of like with Star Wars. Star Wars has kind of lost its way a little bit, but like the Acolyte, it wasn't that good. But I'll watch whatever they put out just because you know it is good entertainment when they do it right. So like if they have a miss or two, that's fine. I just kind of wish them well. Hope they get back on track. Like some people really, yeah. And so Doctor Doom is the main bad guy who's associated with Fantastic Four, and the reason why is Doctor Doom, I think, in the origin story was a college roommate or college buddy or something like that. Reed Richards, who is the main guy in Fantastic Four. Maybe he'll break the curse with that franchise. Yes. So for those of you who don't know, like Fantastic Four has had some serious misses. They've done at least two different versions of it in the past, and it didn't really resonate with audiences. It wasn't really true to the comics and stuff. People were hoping that once it made its way into the Marvel Cinematic Universe instead of the Fox universe, that we might get a proper Fantastic Four movie. So I guess we'll wait and see, but that's what everybody's hoping for at least. Let's see if I can get a whisker in here. But yeah, Fantastic Four is kind of like one of the main groups in Marvel comics in general. So a lot of people have a lot of hopes riding on the Fantastic Four movies being good. But again, we'll have to wait and see. You never know like what resonates with people, you know. Did you ever watch Robotech? Yes, I did watch Robotech. I don't remember a lot about it, but yeah, absolutely, I watched Robotech. Yeah, I remember a little bit as well. So like I know what you're talking about, Robotech. It's just I don't remember any of the plots or stories or who was in it or any of that. I just remember that it was like early animation. I liked Robotech. I liked all that kind of stuff. Like um obviously I like Transformers, but I like things like GoBots. You guys remember GoBots? I was a huge fan of like GI Joe. That was my main thing. Um, GI Joe, maybe a little He Man. I, I think one of my brothers had more He Man stuff than I did. I always thought He Man was a little gay. You know, like that's a big joke now, but I mean, I think it was kind of obvious back then, even when I was young and didn't know what all of that was and stuff. I always thought, yeah, he's kind of gay. Um, but I watched the cartoons. I think my cousin had a lot of He-Man toys. I didn't really have a ton myself. All my stuff was GI Joe. I really was into GI Joe. Oh, Thundercats! Yeah, obviously Thundercats. That's what they should make a movie out of next. Like if they're looking for a next big thing, somebody needs to drag that out of the mothballs and make a live action Thundercats movie. That would absolutely do well because a lot of people still support that. You know, like all the people who come out and watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles whenever they make a new project of that. Those type of people would come out and watch Thundercats for real. Mumra, you guys remember Mumra? I love that movie. I love that cartoon. All those Saturday morning cartoons, you know. Like, well, I don't know why they make so many Transformer movies when they could be making some of these other things. Like, if they're looking for inspiration, all they really need to do is watch Robot Chicken. You know, Robot Chicken for some reason loves nostalgia baiting these things that we grew up on, like people of a certain age. Um, like that's all they do on Robot Chicken. They should like if they're looking for stuff to like kind of pull out of the mothballs and make content out of, they should really just go off and watch Robot Chicken because they made so many different skits with Thundercats in it, and GI Joe and Cobra and Transformers and all those things from back in the day. Whiskers. All right, I'm gonna come back and work on this eye a little bit because I don't feel like I finished this. How are we doing on time? We're doing good on time. But yeah, absolutely, I love Thundercats. So I do go to like a lot of these Comic Cons, and the Comic Cons are around here at least are like combined with toy shows. So they do have like a lot of the toys from back in the day, and it's frustrating because I had some of these toys when I was a kid, and I look at the prices and I see what they're worth now, and I'm like, arg. So for example, the Millennium Falcon. I had the Millennium Falcon when I was a kid. Um, the way I so we didn't have like a ton of money. The way I ended up with the Millennium Falcon is my my dad was in the military, and what happens is like when somebody would leave the base or something, they have all this stuff that they really couldn't take with them unless they shipped it. So like for example, when we lived in Guantanamo, Cuba, we were stationed down there for 2 years when I was a kid. Um, there was somebody else who was stationed there who had a kid and had all these toys and stuff, but he couldn't take them with him when he shipped out. So he made my dad a really good deal, and you know, we ended up with all these toys that we wouldn't have normally been able to afford, just because it was kind of like a hand me down from this guy who was shipping out. And I had a lot of Star Wars toys. I had Millennium Falcon. I had a bunch of little Star Wars figures. I had like the Hoth Battle World with the little turret and the gun and stuff. It was so cool. I had the little Tauntaun guy. Um, the little tauntaun. So you could put Harrison Ford's Han Solo in the back of the tauntaun, and then it had like a belly that opened up where you can put like a little Luke Skywalker in there and stuff to keep him from freezing. You guys remember back to not Back to the Future. Sorry, Empire Strikes Back. I've been drinking. Oh, the name I was remembering. Ah, Stan Lee cameo. That's what it was. Stan Lee comes in and he has them sign for something that's addressed to Tony Stank. That's what it was, and that was at the end of Captain America: Civil War. That's what I was talking about earlier. You guys probably forgot, but anyway, adjusting the eye a little bit. As you can see, it's a lot different than this other eye, just because I'm looking at the reference picture and it needs some adjustments. So I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna move over to this other eye and make some adjustments as well. But yeah, they had the technology as evidenced by the recent Cats musical CGI. Oh no, please do not make a live action Thundercats that looks like the Cats movie. That would be terrible. Like, I think that movie got universally panned for just being generally creepy and not having a plot. I never saw it, but every review that I saw just was completely creeped out by the CGI. Well, CGI slash, I think it was some CGI, some practical effects, but it's that uncanny valley thing that they talk about. So it's when something is so real that's computer generated, it's so real that um, it tricks your mind into thinking it's real, but then also somewhere in your mind you know it's fake, and it's this conflict in your mind where it keeps going back and forth between I know this is fake, I know it looks real, my brain just can't process it. That's what happened with those cats from the Cats movie, and they can't. Please don't make a please don't make a Thundercats movie like that. Although that would be hilarious too. I would like to see that just to see it flop. That would be cool. But I just like Thundercats. I think that that's a pretty good show that they could redo. Like it's gotten mixed reviews, but there was a reboot of He-Man on uh Netflix, and with modern animation styles and stuff like that. I feel like that's what they could do with Thundercats, because Thundercats was a kind of ahead of its time on animation style. Like it looked more like anime. It looked more anime than some of the anime nowadays. Like it was like basically old school anime. Um, so I feel like they could do a good job uh, with resurrecting Thundercats for real. I think modern audiences would appreciate it. By modern audiences, I mean kids that I have no idea what they want. All right, so gonna focus on this eye a little bit. Got to make it match the other eye. It's looking a little off at the moment. Get this get this going. So these eyes are pretty bright. They're more like moon glow than not. And then there is a bit up here where they are a little bit dark, so it's like a little bit of a dark brown. I gotta get that in here. So just bear with me one moment while I work this out. Yeah, I think that's looking okay. Uh, when are we going to get the Count Chocula cinematic universe? Now that would be great. Just as a like sometimes movies don't have to be like super serious. I think that something like the Count Chocula cinematic universe would be great because he had like a lot to work with there. The Blueberry and what was it? What was the Frankenberry? Frankenberry? I don't know, the pink one. It was like Frankenstein, but it was pink. You could do that just as like a joke. Yeah, Frankenberry style. Frankenberry was the strawberry based, I think. And then blueberry, and then obviously Count Chocula. All right. So these guys do have like a little light dot in their eye as well. I'm gonna do that with the gel pen. That looks cool. This one's more like in the center of it. I always like adding those because it does make the cat look more realistic. I want to see if I can get. Let me use this black here. I wanted to get more of a yeah. Color that in a little bit. They this cat does have kind of like not sunken eyes, but recessed eyes, and that recess is causing this shadow that I'm having a little bit of a trouble getting in here, but I think that with this black pencil, I can get that working. Yeah, I think that's going to be fine. Let's get this going through here. There we go. Freaking Larry. That's a good one. Well done. I feel like, yeah, a little golf clap on that one. Freaking Larry. I think that'd be fun. Like I could write that story like a cinematic. I mean, come on. They made a movie based on a Barbie doll. Like, and I guess like, the toy, the Barbie toy is based on like a person, so you can form stories there and stuff. But how's that any different than Count Chocula, right? So Count Chocula is based on a character. You could totally make a story there. I mentioned I like GI Joes. They haven't made a good GI Joe movie, but they have made live action movies with GI Joes in them. All the GI Joe movies are terrible. I wish they would make a serious GI Joe movie. I forget the name of it. I think it was GI Joe Renegades. They did a cartoon one time that was made for more like adults, like character, like some of the GI Joes actually died in it, and like it was kind of bloody, so it was like made for adults and stuff. I wish they would do that with the live action GI Joe, like take it very serious and make it like a real counterterrorism unit, make it really super badass. That would be awesome. They're not going to do it because they want to sell toys to kids. I respect that, but I mean, just you know, the people who care about GI Joes, they're people my age and older. Um, I see what you're trying to do there. You're trying to get a new younger audience and stuff interested in your intellectual property, but you know, it's people my age that would go and watch it, not kids. It is pretty sad that people my age are the ones watching all these like all the Marvel movies and stuff like that. I don't know. I think that actually kind of spans different age groups. You have people my age who are into like comic book movies, and then you also have like I don't know kids that are into comic book movies. Something that we can all get along with, and kind of like it spans the years. There we go. Spans the generations. Like dads can take their kids to go and watch these Marvel movies and find some common ground there. Because like some of these comic book characters, like Captain America goes back to like the 1940s. Not just as far as like the storyline goes, but actually the character was in the 1940s. Batman, like you know, again 1940s and stuff like that. Grandparents and stuff might relate. All right, I like this side. I need to develop this side a little bit more. It's kind of scrunched in here, but I do like how this is going. It's looking pretty good. How are we doing on time? Yeah, we're doing okay on time. I want to at least get the face in there. Get a nice little realistic face, and then we can worry about the body. I don't feel like I have to do a lot of the body because, like in the original picture, you know, it was kind of dark. So I can kind of like have that fade out a little bit, but I do want the face in here. I think one of the challenges on this particular channel is that I do kind of try to keep it around 2 hours, you know, just so that you guys don't go crazy watching this. Um, you know, feel free to get up and go take a bathroom break if you need to, but I do like to keep it around the 2 hour mark. Um, so it kind of limits the amount of detail and the type of projects I can work on. I know that sometimes I challenge myself and just like, well, this project is to see how much I can get done in 2 hours or less and stuff. And that's always fun. But sometimes with like a super detailed animal portrait, you know, you kind of want to spend some time on it, you know, and you want to sink some time into it just to get it right. Right. Anyway, Gen X. I'm like on the tail end of Gen X. I'm cross between Gen X and millennial. Like, I'm not going to give my age or anything like that or the year I was born, but it's right there in the in between. So like I could go either way. Certainly, like most of my friends are like millennials. Some of my siblings, like my older brother and stuff, is definitely Gen X. My younger brother is like a millennial for sure, and I'm like right there in the middle. Like I am the middle child in my family. I was born at a time where just right there in the middle, kind of like cross between two worlds. But that's cool though. Like I kind of I like being born when I was. I'm 4478. I don't know what that means. Do you remember Aeon Flux from So I remember Aeon Flux, and I remember that uh, Char Charlie Theron. I remember that they made a live action movie of that, and I remember enjoying that movie. But I didn't have MTV when I was young. I was too cheap for that, or my parents were. Um, so I didn't grow up like watching it and stuff. Like I only knew of these things from like the brief moments that I got to watch them over at friends' house. Like same with Beavis and Butthead and things like that. I got to watch them over at friends' house sometimes when I was lucky, but I didn't get to watch them myself. So let me get Whisker in here. Whiskers are hard to draw on these things because you kind of want to get them right. And it's really easy to get them wrong. You have to take your time and be careful with them and so that they come out being straight lines. Aeon Flux. There you go. I have trouble pronouncing things. I'm not very good at public speaking just because I'm terrible at pronouncing things. I made up a word today. I made up updatery. That is the I forget what the definition was I gave to it, but has to do with updated, and it's like being in the vicinity of being updated. I don't know why I do these things. I think that's pretty good. All right. I think I can make these look a little bit better. Get some of this fur in the neck down here. Basically, I want to be able to bring this side of the face down into these whiskers. So I had to draw those whiskers to kind of give me an idea of where those go. Simone was the guy. She was a tough girl. She could catch a fly with her eyelashes. That's right. I think I remember that. Kid says, I'm just old Rome, and tomorrow is my birthday that I share with Harry Potter. Hey, happy birthday! Well, dang. I wish I knew it was your birthday. I'd draw something for you. But happy birthday. Hey, you're familiar with Harry Potter, though. Like, how old can you be? You know? I love Harry Potter stories. Those are like special books. I know that, I don't know, like J.K. Rowling's get some weird, well, get some flack for like having some strange ideas nowadays, but her books are pretty good. Like sometimes authors are just weird. Like for example, Stephen King. Like not everybody agrees with Stephen King's like ideas about the world, but we all generally like his books. I think it's the same with J.K. Rowling. So like she's been under fire in recent years for like I think her views on um, I think transgender stuff. I don't follow, so I don't really know. I just know that like her books are good, regardless of like what crazy views she's got. Um, I think I think that's the case for like a lot of these people. Like George R. R. Martin. I love Game of Thrones, but there's some really strange ideas in Game of Thrones. Like there's like incest and like weird shit like that. And it makes me wonder what kind of a person George R. R. Martin is. But that said, you know, I can set aside my views on like him and just appreciate his art. You know, because I do enjoy the stories from Game of Thrones. I feel like it's the same with J.K. Rowling's. Like, you may not agree with her personal views or whatever, but you can still appreciate Harry Potter. Harry Potter was great. Harry Potter was awesome. I love those stories. So anyway, you know, think what you want of J.K. Rowling's. Her stories are cool. That's my take on it. Um, the Fantastic Beast movies, though, I don't know. I don't know about those. The first one I remember watching just because I was really into like Harry Potter stories, but there was like so much crammed into like the Fantastic Beast movies that it was tough to follow. Like I got the bits about this guy, then what was his name? Newt? Whatever his name was. Um, yeah, happy birthday cake. Sweet. Should draw a happy birthday cake for kid. Kid, happy birthday. And if you want a birthday cake drawn, I'm happy to draw you a birthday cake. This kitty's looking pretty good. Um, but yeah, I got the basic gist of the Fantastic Beast stories. But when they got into like things like the lore and stuff, it was tough to follow. There was just too much. It was too much information for me. Like the Fantastic Beast stories are supposed to be kind of about these creatures and stuff that exist in the Harry Potter world, and basically like this guy who goes out and studies them all. I'm totally down with all that, but all the extra stuff about like I don't know Dumbledore and you know the heck was that other guy's name? The bad guy's name? Grindel's was some another whatever his name is. That's just too much for me. I couldn't get into all that. Grindelwald. Yeah, that's it. The bad guy in it was Grindelwald. And apparently they were like friends back in the day, or like close friends. Um, and then over time, they ended up with beefs and stuff. That's it's just too much story to follow. Hey, Lorraine's in the house. I like Lorraine's icon. Like, is that one of your dogs, Lorraine? Is your profile picture? Looks super cute. I don't think. Have I seen your dogs? Oslo. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oslo. Yeah. I drew Oslo. Okay. He looks different there. He looks like a corgi in that picture. I don't know. It's super small, so it's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, I remember Oslo. Oslo's super cute. We don't know time. Always concerned about time on this show. All right, so I'm gonna put in some cross hatching for like the background here, just so that you know where his face ends and like behind him begins. So I'll come back to that here in a minute, but I wanted to get that started. So there are some like rows of fur. This is what's challenging about doing one of these striped kitties is like you do have like layers of these stripes that you have to put in. And it can be a bit time consuming. But without putting these in, he looks like a little scratchy. I don't even know this cat's name. I don't think it was mentioned in the post. I always like to know the cat's names whenever I'm working on, or like the animal in general. It kind of helps me kind of like anchor into the picture and stuff. Like I do remember all of your pets' names, like Oslo, Bandit, and Zeus for Larry. Um, like I generally like to associate the animal's name with the picture. Rome dog. Otherwise, I have to make up names like this guy. I'm just gonna call him Scratchy. Good, Jeremy. Thank you, Rome dog. Yeah, I think it's got a ways to go, but it's getting there. It's tough to get all the markings in correctly because there's just so many. It's all right. Ferocious little kitty. Soften this up a little bit. So, like, sometimes I just want like a nice soft touch, almost cloud-like on some of these background things, especially on like the black paper. Um, and when I'm using colored pencil, this is the colored pencil. I probably should have mentioned that like hours ago, but um, this is the colored pencil. So it's not like I can just blur it out as easily as I do with the pastels and stuff. But you can blur. You can blur pastel or like colored pencils. I don't know if I have a blending stump. Try this one. So, I mean, it is just wax pigment, right? So, like, you can blur it. I'm not even using the tip of this. I didn't want to use the tip because I've used this for charcoal and pastel. So I'm using just like this little bit here. And you can just kind of like basically basically just push that wax into the paper. And I think that gives it like a nice little soft kind of backlight. And then even though it looks rough at the moment, this kind of forms the back of the cat. So we know where the cat's space is without drawing like a line to represent it, if that makes sense. Where'd you hang your Zeus and Bandit? I'm kind of curious about that too. Room Dog says, I have to go back to school to get that kind of realism. Oh, I don't know about that, man. Honestly, I think that realism comes from just patience, really, because like it's every time I go to draw a picture and it's not realistic, like it's not like a fully realism type style. It's just because like I got kind of like tired of drawing or something. If you have patience, you can create a really realistic picture. Because like then it's just hours and hours and hours of going over the same thing and you're building up layers. Realism is basically just building up layers. And that is 100% patience. Which I don't have a lot of, like when it comes to doing pictures and stuff, I like to kind of bridge the realism slash stylistic kind of border, just because I like to draw fast. I only give myself about 2 hours per drawing. Now I could always come back and finish this up later and stuff if I really wanted to, but I usually like to get my pictures done within 2 hours. So my drawings end up being like I don't know what you would call it, but it's like basically the 2 hour style. It's like this is what a picture looks like if it was drawn in 2 hours. I don't. I need a name for that style. The 2 hour style. Do dos um dos stylistic. I can't do Spanish. I should be able to do Spanish. I went to school for Spanish. Like in high school, I took 2 years of Spanish and I failed both years. I didn't apply myself in school like I should have. What I think is a cool style, and this is kind of like what I end up doing with these pictures, is I use the principles of realism to get like a base of the cat, and then I come in towards the end and I kind of like make more stylistic, expressionistic kind of marks after I've got the base of the cat in. So like once I've got the general form of the cat in, then I'll get kind of rough with my marks and like a little bit looser and more expressive and stuff. And I think that that kind of combination really looks cool. Um, like it kind of varies in my art. Like in some of them, it's really noticeable, and other ones it's not. It's a like in some of my pictures you can really see what I'm doing as far as that goes, but in other ones you don't. But yeah, that really is what's going on. I like to get the basics of my cat in, for example, and then I'll come back and kind of style it up. So I'll put in like a little bit of scribble, fur, but only after I know where the cat actually is. Rome would perk his ears up when he heard you. Oh, that's awesome, man. I used to blast the stream in the RV park. Yeah, I remember you. I don't know if you still live in the RV park, but I remember you lived in the RV park. I always thought that'd be cool. Like I mean, I am not opposed to living in an RV park. I think that would be fun. Um, Larry says, haven't had a chance yet, kid. Been super busy with work, but when I do, you guys will know. Cool. Talking about like hanging up the picture. Patience is key. I see that. I'm so loose right now. Where'd you go to college, Jeremy? Oh, it was a little community college in Ohio called Hawking College. Again, when I was young, I was not focused. I was not really trying to apply myself. I mean, you hear about people who live their life kind of like just on a whim. That's basically me. I have lived my life not very well planned, and like in some ways I suffer for it, in other ways I'm happy that I made the choices that I made. Um, Not all of them were great, but also I am who I am. because of the decisions I made and stuff. So yeah, it was just a little college and stuff. And again, I went for like tree care and land management, which is I've never done any of that. And like that's basically you go to those courses if you wanted to be like a landscape architect. That would have been a career path. You could have ended up being like like in charge of like I don't know, just basically any kind of like land management, like facilities type person. I guess at like the upper end, you could have like planned and architected like a large garden or something at like a I don't know, like botanical gardens or something like that in some city or something. Like that's probably the higher end. None of that, none of that is where I wanted to be. I was just a kid, right? So like I went to school and I'm like, well, I don't have to pay for this. They're gonna give it to me for free, so I'll just show up and do it. And yeah, I kind of started applying myself maybe in those college courses and stuff, but in high school, I was completely zoned out. Like, um, I used to skip school a lot. I was never really interested. I took vocational classes in high school, and that's kind of where some of my graphic arts knowledge comes from because I those vocational classes was to run a printing press. It was like a graphics arts program, and I was fortunate enough to be there at the time when they first started using computers to do like desktop publishing and layouts and design and on a computer. Um, so I started becoming fascinated with computers at that point, but um, it was mostly I went to I basically went to those classes because they let you get out of school early your senior year where you could go to a job. So like you got to leave at like 12 o'clock in the afternoon and go to like some actual job and stuff. Like that was literally the program. They would teach you a skill and then send you out into the world to actually go and make money at it. And I thought that was kind of cool. So that's what I did. I had no intention of going to college. I ended up going to college just because. And then, like I said, it was just classes that I was never planning to use for anything. When it comes to the programming stuff, I taught myself that skill, and I got pretty good at it, and I got good at it well enough to actually land like a real job, um, working for the national governing body of equestrian sports, the United States Equestrian Federation, and I did that for like 12 years. Um, so like I do have a pretty extensive career in that, and I was a programmer for them, built their website, built some of their systems for like just managing the organization, which is it's a pretty big organization. If you think about it, there's like I don't know, there's like I don't want to like I don't think it's any trade secret to say that they have like a membership around 80,000. So like when you have an organization that large, you definitely need like some custom software for it. So that was kind of what I worked with the team and stuff, and I don't know, it was pretty cool. And I've been there for a long time, started thinking about like, I don't know, is this really what I want to do for the rest of my life? And I'm like, no, not really. I want to kind of work for myself. So I left there and then have been doing kind of like freelance projects. I've got some projects of my own that I want to kind of like take off, like actual offerings that I would put out there into the world, like Shark Tank type stuff. But they're not there yet and stuff. So I'm still working on those. But yeah, I'm just basically a programmer who wants to be more artistic. That's where I'm at. I don't know. I'm kind of like I guess like when I think about it, I'm a little bit flighty. Like I never intended to be. I actually think of myself as a pretty analytical type person, but I don't know. This is like I guess my version of a midlife crisis is to say, screw it, I want to be more creative. So that's where I'm at. But it's been a wild ride. I've enjoyed every minute of it. Um, Can't say it's always been like easy. It's certainly not easy, but it is the cards that I've got, and I will make the best of them. That's actually the message that I would pass on to others. Really, is like no matter where you're at in your life, whatever you're into or whatever, it can be a positive story, and you can actually you can make the best of it. And of course, my approach to that would be like, hey, take up art. Like even if if you don't consider yourself a very good artist, just put in the time, practice and stuff. I did not draw like this when I first started out. This is the result of practice, and I can only imagine that in the coming years I will get better at it. And that's my ultimate goal, is to get better at this stuff. But you have to put in the time, and you have to put in the effort, and you have to do all the things. So if there's any kind of like takeaway message I would give to the people who are watching this, who are looking for inspiration, is that, hey, if you do put in the time and the effort and all of that stuff, you can accomplish your goals. I like to think that, the art that I'm creating is representative of that. But don't take my word for it. Give it a shot. Spend some time on it. The more you practice, the better you get at it. I believe that. Like, there's probably some inherent skills that you need. You can't just sit down and create a masterful piece of work. You have to like actually learn some stuff. But the things that you have to learn, I think, are pretty. Look at this. The things that you have to learn are pretty basic, and the essentials are really basic. And once you get those done and out of the way, then it's just practice. It really is just a lot of practice. Bad fire in Northern California. I'm right by it, the park. I'm safe, but yeah, man, like make sure you stay safe. Those wildfires, it's just ridiculous. I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe I'm paying more attention to it now, or maybe it really is climate change, but it just seems like there is a lot of bad stuff going on in terms of nature. Like it feels like the world is trying to get rid of us for real. So be safe out there, man. Yeah, but definitely like just to kind of summarize where I was at on that. I didn't go to school for this. I don't know if I would have enjoyed going to school for this. I think I would have got frustrated with it. Like, it seems like school is pretty structured, and I like developing my own structure when it comes to learning things. I do count that as like one of my things that I'm good at. I think certainly it was with programming. I feel like I'm pretty good at picking up things. Like I'm not a smart person. I'm really not. Like sometimes I get that impression, but I'm really not a smart person. What I pride myself on is the ability to like learn, and I think that I'm pretty good at learning new things and applying them to things that I feel like are important. So whereas I may not know everything there is to know about how to create pretty pictures. I feel like I can pick up enough to where in a decent amount of time, I can pick up enough basic skills to where I can accomplish the type of art that I want to create, um, and feel confident doing it, if that makes sense. I feel like this nose should be a little bit higher. I can get that up there higher. But it's a process, it's an ongoing process. But no, I'm definitely not a smart person. I know what I know, and I can apply what I know, and that's about it. I wish I knew more about things. I don't know. I kind of like the whole ignorance is bliss. kind of the thing. Like, there's something that I'm just not interested in. Hey, Tom, how's it going, man? You're dedicated, Jeremy, and you're totally on my level. 100% I'm dedicated. That is actually one of my so like if I had a resume or something and I put down like the qualities that I bring to the table is I am obsessed with some with things. Like if I want to create really cool art, I will live and breathe that until it happens, you know. And if I had advice for people, like yeah, man, bring that kind of passion to your work, you know. Like if you if you are passionate about something and you spend the time on it and you so here's the reality, right? So like here's the thing. Here's the actual thing. Okay. I have 500 million different excuses not to do this live stream. I have 500 million excuses not to draw a single picture. I have other things I could be doing. I could be watching Marvel movies on you know, Disney Plus. I could be watching the Olympics right now. I could be out at a bar with some friends. I could be walking my dog. I could be, I don't know, doing other positive things like exercising. I could be reading a book. I could be listening to a podcast. I could be learning some other skill. I could be using that Udemy class that I bought on learning how to play the violin. There's a million different excuses not to do something. Right? 100%. You can always find some excuse not to do something. But here's the thing. Here's the actual thing. If you sit down with a pencil and paper and draw the kitty picture, I guarantee you will get better at drawing kitty pictures. If you sit down and you do the work over a period of time, you will get better at art, right? So here's the thing. When you think about all the different things that you could be doing other than accomplishing your goal, if you remind yourself that if I do the work, I will get better at it, and if I do the work, I will accomplish my goal, then you just kind of zone it all out and just do the work. I mean, it's really hard to explain, but I got to the point um, in my life where I realized that like if I just kind of like tune it all out and I just do what I'm supposed to do, then things will just fall into place. And I know that like if I sit down every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 o'clock my time and I draw a picture, eventually I will be a better artist. That's all there really is to it. I mean, it's just that. And it's like you know, I'm so thankful that when I do sit down and I do these drawings, I have such great people to hang out with and talk to. Like that's you guys, you know, like you guys make it worthwhile because like if you guys weren't here, it would be so easy to fall into those things that I just talked about where I don't really want to do a picture today. I'm going to go watch Netflix. Or I don't really want to do a picture today. I'm going to go watch the Olympics. And what happens then is like, yeah, sure, I could get away with doing that once or twice or, you know, even like a handful of times. But if I fall out of the practice of drawing pictures, you know, I'm not going to learn that skill or I'm not going to pick up that kind of, that thing that I want to pick up, you know, which is the ability to draw pretty cat pictures. So that's what it's all about. I mean that's I mean it seems like it's more complicated than that, but it really is that simple. It's like I draw pictures because drawing pictures make me better at drawing pictures. It's really that simple, and it's such a simple thing. It's really hard to explain. It really is. It's like you know I tell other people like, hey, just draw pictures and you'll get better at drawing pictures. And it sounds so cheesy. Um, it sounds like it's reductionist, right? It sounds like it reduces the amount of like effort and all of that stuff down to like, hey, just do this and you'll get this. But it is true. It is actually true. If you If you sit down and you try to draw a cat picture and you draw a million different cats, you'll end up being really good at drawing cats. I believe it. I mean, 100% I believe it. And you should believe it too. If you don't believe it, I'll try to convince you otherwise. Anyhow, that's my philosophy about it. Um, yeah, I started this channel about it. Well, it's been like a year and a half now, but I started this channel January 1st of last year, so 2023, with the idea that I will practice drawing and be more creative and see where that goes. And these are the observations that I have to report back from that experiment. You know, most of you guys have been here for that journey, so you know what I'm talking about. You've seen my work get better. I mean, there's still some misses. Like I can draw some pictures that don't really land. That happens. That might happen tonight. I don't know. This picture here might just turn out terrible. I like the direction it's going, but I may not be able to like finish it and make it really nice. But in some of my pictures, they just don't turn out right. It happens. But by and large, I am getting better at it, and it is practice. So let that be a lesson to you, kids. Practice, and you will get better. 109, geez, that's ridiculous. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Hey, MJ, how's it going? Willie's in the house. Cool. Yeah, I heard those fires are terrible out there. Really, really. Yeah, practice does make perfect. Well, sorry, practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes better. That's a more accurate way to say it. Nothing's ever perfect. Yeah, that's not really true. There's a reason why masters are masters. So, like when you want to see Olympics, um, you know, you see this guy swimming, and he's like swims across the thing, and he like swims fast enough where he wins a gold medal and stuff. And you're like, I could do that. I can go swimming. I mean, swimming's easy. I can jump in a pool and I can, you know, move my arms and swim across the thing. And yeah, that's true. But you're not going to be like an Olympic athlete. So, like, you can sit down with a pencil and paper and practice and get better at what you're doing. But to be a master, there is still a such thing as the master, right? So, like, if you go to the art museums, you'll see what I'm talking about. Those guys are Olympic level artists. I don't claim to be ever. I don't even claim to be like halfway on the path to being one of those guys. Those guys are just phenomenal. But I can still draw a better kitty picture than I used to last year. Like I like this kitty. He's looking good. Drawing cats is my kryptonite. Yeah, drawing cats is so much fun. It really is. All right, so let me move down to this neck. I want to get some of this fur in here. Are we doing on time? Yeah. So like I want to make sure that I get some of this body in here before I call it a night. Again, the goal here, like if you guys missed the beginning of this stream, is somebody made a request on Reddit to draw their cat. This cat is 20 years old, and they were super nice about it. They said, "Can anyone draw my cat? I just want something to hang on my wall," and that really stuck with me. I like that kind of thought, you know, like, hey, I can help that person. So that's what we're doing tonight. Is we're drawing a cat for that person, just to make them feel better about things. You know, their cat's 20 years old. We don't know how much longer that cat has. Like, honestly, a 20-year-old cat. And I don't know what the upper limit is for cats, but 20 years old, it could still live for a while. It looks kind of young. It doesn't look too old. But anyway, we're trying to bring a smile to that person's face. That's what we're working on tonight. I'm gonna got poor kitten someone dumped. Yeah, that's the problem with cats. You get a cat, you get a lot of cats. Or like someone's always offering you a cat. Especially if like, okay, so like I live in Kentucky and I'm like in a rural area. Like there's you know, there's Lexington, Kentucky here, but it's still kind of small. As soon as you go 15 minutes outside of the city limits, it's basically farms, mostly horse farms, but there's like a lot of cow farms too. You are never going to have a problem getting a cat if you want a cat because everybody's always got offering up kittens. So like if you ever want a cat, you you can basically get a kitten. Now, if you want to, you can go to a shelter and like actually get one that's neutered and it's got all their shots and stuff. That's probably the best route. But somebody somewhere is going to be offering you a cat. Like around here, they even offer you like rabbits and all kinds of stuff. Like, oh, thanks, Lorraine. I appreciate that. But yeah, basically, if you're the least bit interested in a cat, you don't have to go very far to get a cat. Somebody's going to offer you a cat at some point in your life. You'll probably find a cat in some like I don't know. So there is a difference between like cats and feral cats. You don't want feral cats. Like in fact, my understanding is that there's no way to domesticate a feral cat, but don't quote me on that. But it's not like you want to go to I don't know. Like there's a lot of cats around here that hang out at gas stations, like behind the gas station near the dumpster and stuff like that. You don't want one of those kitties. You want a nice little domesticated kitty. I don't know. Maybe those kind of kitties can be turned into the kind of kitty that snuggles with you in your bed, but I would consult an expert on that. I am not an expert on that kind of stuff. Get some paw stuff going down here. We gotta get this body in here before we call it quits, guys. Bengal cats are cool. You want a specific cat, it can be pricey. Yeah. What's those really long haired cats? And like Maine Coons, I want to call them. Those are cool. Lorraine's got Siamese cats. Those guys are awesome. She's got like twin cats. They look just like each other. Like literally, they look like Siamese twins. They're adorable. Yeah, yeah. I've always liked cats myself. Um, the like honestly, if you just put food out, like in some places in the United States, like where I live, if you put food out on the front porch or the back porch or something like that, you're gonna attract some sort of like animal. And where I live, it'll probably be a cat, but it could just as likely be a raccoon. You're gonna attract some sort of animal. Um, I don't have any of these type of cameras, but it would be kind of cool to like set up all these like night vision, like wildlife cameras and things like that, just to catch all the different animals. But I love me some animals, and I like taking care of like wild animals, like even if they're feral animals and stuff. I don't know, like experts and stuff probably are on the fence about whether or not you should feed them. Like in my mind, I don't know, it just feels good to like feed wild animals, but then also I get the argument that maybe you're not supposed to just because like they become dependent on humans. And that probably isn't good, but also I am me and I probably would feed them anyway. I don't know. I guess it depends on the circumstance. In my neighborhood, I would definitely put out food for them. But then you're probably going to end up with like 20 different cats in your yard. And he said the main cat. Oh, sweet. Lorraine, I'm hitting up the shelter after this fire for a doggo for sure. Oh, you're getting a new dog. Oh, you're getting a cat too. Nice. Congratulations. Yeah, that's awesome. If you're looking for names for the dog, don't name your dog. So if you're going to the shelter to get a dog, don't name your dog yet. Instead, post a picture of your dog and let us name your dog for you. Please. That would be so much fun. Like let the people come up with a name for your dog. It's so tough. Like these type of dog, like cats, they have like so many layers of stripes and stuff. It's so hard because you have to like draw each individual one. Now I'm getting a little bit looser as the further I move away from like the face, but it's still like there's a lot of fur in here. But that's okay. I felt better about having like this body in here before there was no body, and I didn't feel comfortable wrapping it up. I feel better now. Always whenever I'm drawing a picture for like a YouTube, I need to at least create something that looks good as a thumbnail, because like I'm not done until I create the thumbnail at least. But this guy's looking pretty good. Now there is some stripes back here. I'll go and kind of like get that kind of started, but I'm not gonna spend like a lot of time on drawing these guys. But yeah, there's some stripes in the hind part. Willy-nilly kitties need to be loved within 2 weeks before they go wild. Yeah, so I don't know. There was a cat that hung around my house, and we called the shelter just to ask them like, hey, what should we do with this cat? And somebody came out and looked at him and stuff, and they were telling us about feral cats, and they were saying that basically there's not much you can do for a feral cat. You can't take the feral cat and convert them into like a domesticated cat or whatever. I don't know if any of that's true. It's just what they told us when they came out. Um, I don't know. It seems kind of a bleak prognosis. Like I want to think that like you find a cat, you can save that cat and help that cat and everything. But I don't know. Maybe it's true. Maybe wild cats are just wild cats and that's all they are. And they're gonna eat birds or whatever. Like you can put out a bird feeder to help them out. I don't know. Like I don't know. I like birds too, so I would never do that. I wouldn't set up a bird feeder just to feed feral cats. But anyway, all right. I might come back and add like some pause later, but I wanted to with the remaining time we've got before we hit the 2 hour mark, I wanted to kind of get some little highlighted areas in with the gel pen. Because one of the things I like about this style is kind of coming back after the fact and really adding these like really highlighted areas where appropriate. Because the colored pencil on the black paper only goes so far. This gel pen really helps. So I do feel like captured the spirit of this cat. I don't know if we captured the perfect lightness of it, but it's pretty good. I wish I knew this cat's name. Honestly, I should never accept a drawing project without knowing the cat's or without knowing the subject's name. I feel like that just works for my process. Like I feel like I need to be connected to this cat through their name. I'm just gonna call this cat Scratches until I know its real name. Have a good one, BIC. Probably wrap this up soon, so you're not missing much. I appreciate you. I appreciate what you guys when you guys say, "Hey, I'll see you later" and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. No, no whiskers. Let me reinforce some of these whiskers here, literally. So those of you who are, yeah, East Coast over here. I don't know if you're asking me, but oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Ramadan. Those of you who are watching the Olympics, what are your favorite sports? I know that mine's equestrian, but I will watch all of the Olympics just for fun. I am kind of curious what you guys are into. Different people are usually into like different things. I think some of the favorites are like the gymnasts, but I don't know. When it comes to like the Winter Olympics, curling is a lot of fun. I don't know how I feel about the Summer Olympics and which ones are my favorite. The equestrian stuff is just like always going to be my favorite. I love horses. I am so amazed by what horses can do at the Olympics level. Anywho, we're almost done here. Bear with me. Just adding some simple highlights left. The whiskers are always tough because you got to make them straight. They really do help sell it. I do think the eyes on this look pretty cool. Anyway, as I'm wrapping this up, I do want to appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Like I said several times during this particular stream and others, I do kind of rely on you guys to tune in just so that I stay motivated. But I don't think that's going to be a problem because you guys are super cool about that. And like I said, the more you guys watch, the more I'm motivated to do these drawings. And I do really want to do more projects like this one in particular, where the person posts it. I'll show the post here in a minute again. But the person just nicely says, like, look, I don't have any money, but can somebody draw my cat? I'd love to have something hanging on my wall. The cat's like 20 years old. Um, that is absolutely the kind of person that I want to help out with drawing a picture. So the more you guys watch, the more I'm motivated to do that, and also the more that YouTube appreciates it as well. And theoretically, someday YouTube could I don't know, fund sending these pictures out to people. Paying them for the postage and stuff like that. That'd be kind of cool. Anyway, that's a long-term goal, and we'll see if we can get there. But as a community, you guys are pretty awesome. I do appreciate it. But I think this is probably good enough for now. I'll take another look at it and see if there's any details that I can add to it just to make it more like the picture. But let's see. Sorry guys, I've been out of the chat. Jeremy, cat looks great. Gotta run. Good night, everyone. All right, have a good one, Larry. In fact, I'm probably going to go ahead and call this and call it done for tonight. Like I said, I'll probably take a look at this and see if there's any things that I can do to improve it. Real quick, here is the reference picture. This is the post that they made. Again, someone asked if can you please draw my cat? He's really old, and I want something to hang in my room, but I don't have money to pay for it. So this is the kind of stuff that I want to do on this channel. This is a perfect request for somebody like me. It makes me feel good helping this person out. So that's what we're trying to do. If you go back to the cat, I think we're almost there. I think I need to add some more highlights and develop his chin a little bit. But I think we're getting pretty close to calling this good enough to send off to the person. But in the meantime, I think this is the done for tonight. Certainly I can make a thumbnail out of this. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I know that some of you guys got to go. It is at the 2-hour mark. Some of you guys have to go to work tomorrow or school or something of that nature. So as always, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I will be back on Thursday. If I have the time, I will finish up that video I promised of me hiding that wood burn out in the woods. MJ asks, how long have I been drawing? So honestly, I've only really been drawing for the last 2 years. I've been drawing all of my life, but as far as like doing actually good pictures, or the type of pictures that I draw now, just in the last 2 years. You can go back to pictures that I did last year, and you can see the development. The ones I did last year, they're not all that great. Well, some of them are, but I feel like I'm getting better. I still have like a long ways to go, but yeah, I mean, really, consistently, I've only been drawing for the last 2 years. But again, I've been drawing all my life, just for fun. Um, Trying to actually get better over the last 2 years. But anyway, hopefully that answers your question. I will be back on Thursday, and maybe I might get a video in there in between, like a static video, not a live stream, but we'll see how it goes. In the meantime, see you guys later. Thanks for hanging out with me. Appreciate it. Bye. Have a good one.